Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to my 2024 Christmas home tour. Come on in. Okay, we're going to start right here. One of those fun panel quilts with so many cute sayings. I love having this draped over the couch as you walk in the door. And then as you walk into our little front room, I've also got, this is actually a pretty recent table runner in Favorite Things. And then just some little Christmas village houses. I love houses. These trees were actually given to me by my mother-in-law when she started doing a little bit less decorating. She gave me, it's a set of 3, and she had had them for a long time. So I know they're pretty old. This ornament was one that I've had since I was a little girl, so that one's kind of fun also. Back here in the corner, I've got 3 Favorite Things quilts. I've got Sugar Pine Stars and the Season's Greetings and the Candy Box quilt in the basket. So I kind of was going for a whole kind of Favorite Things vibe right here. On the couch, I have some pillows that I've had for quite a while. This is a free pattern from Nana Company, and I did the embroidery, and the fabrics are all Kate Spain from several years ago. In fact, the fabrics from this pillow are also Kate Spain Christmas fabrics, and these, I think it's a free pattern on the Moda website, actually, that one right there. And then I've always loved Dresden's. So I've been making Dresden pillows. This is all different things from my collection, but I probably made this about 15 years ago. So those are scrappy from all different collections. On the couch is my row quilt that came out with our Favorite Things collection. And it has a lot of different Christmas things and was probably one of my favorite quilts with that collection. This is an older table runner. I think it might be a Heather Mulder Peterson pattern from several years ago. And again, those fabrics are Kate Spain, but I believe I snuck in, this was from one of our collections, and so was this. I had fun sneaking in some aquas that were mine and Chelsea's. And over here, another Dresden pillow, also Kate Spain fabrics. Love Kate Spain. This one I'm actually going to pick up and hold. I made this quite a few years ago. I don't know the pattern name, but this was one of my first applique quilts that I made. And always fun to get this one out each year. I know the binding is Minnick & Simpson, but again, the fabrics were just kind of a combination of some Minnick & Simpson fabrics and some fabrics from my stash. Okay, and then we're going to look at this tree, because on this tree I have mostly handmade ornaments, things that have been gifted to me. My friend Gail made this. I did an ornament exchange several years ago and got these little Russian dolls. My friend Katie gifted us these cross-stitch ornaments. She actually has the pattern in her shop, Count Your Stitches. My grandmother crocheted this little stocking ornament. And I've got some of the quilted ornaments that I made. That star on the bottom was actually gifted to me by Bonnie of Cotton Way. She's Camille Ross Kelly's mom, with the blue ribbon down there. Let's see, this pear was gifted to me by Joanna Figueroa back in the day when I used to sew for her. And this is a new one from this year. It was gifted to me by my friend Mary Kaufman. Love the spools, and she wrapped them with our fabrics. Let's see, more kind of I love little wooden ornaments. And another one that my grandmother made down here. We all remember when plastic canvas was all the rage, and my grandmother loved working with plastic canvas. And this one was another one from my grandmother. She had a cat that she loved, and so she liked cat ornaments. So I think that's about it for this tree. Before we leave this tree, I just want to mention this tree skirt. I love it so much. I will try to link the pattern. The pattern is available, I'm sure. And it's by Andy Knowlton of A Bright Corner. And the fabrics are all fig tree. I love, 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 love this tree skirt. And I'll probably make another one with our own fabrics one of these days. That's what a fun pattern it is. This is actually one of the first Christmas decor items that I ever made. My kids were really little. I probably only even had 2 kids when I made this. But I had so much fun practicing my buttonhole stitches. I would not make them that large if I were making it today, but I remember getting the fabrics for this from my grandmother's stash, and she had taught me how to applique, and I hand quilted it, and I just did a dowel. It's very crooked, but it's very sweet. This is when I was first learning to quilt. Let's see, on the table, this is probably my newest Christmas finish. Just actually put this pattern up in the shop, made it in my favorite things, fabrics. And then back over here, these are fig tree Christmas fabrics. These stockings were at my husband's grandmother's house. And this is another little plastic canvas letters to Santa thing that my grandmother made. Okay, coming over here, another fig tree Christmas runner. These little statues my husband's grandmother gave to us at Christmas. And a couple of pillows. I love putting pillows in bowls, especially during the holidays. So I think this one might have been a Sweetwater panel. And this might have been one of my first grandmother's flower garden pillows. Fig tree stockings. I believe she has a pattern for that. This little Christmas tree on the table is a Fat Quarter Shop free pattern. So that's something that you can make and goes together really easily. And then this is Katie, my friend, her cross-stitch pattern to go along with the row quilt that we showed you over on the couch. And you can get the pattern for this in her shop. And I was so excited when she gifted this to me because I absolutely love it. Okay, so I also have quilts hanging over the banisters in quite a few places. And my husband and I actually have come up with a really good way to display them next year, but there wasn't time this year. So I've actually just got them pinned with T-pins that I use at Quilt Market. But this is a Vanessa Gertzen panel that I had quilted to look like, well, it's custom quilting by Val Krieger on there. But love having the quilts hanging over the banisters. And there's a couple more in our family room too. Okay, so this is a quilt that I made. If you recognize it, it's the 2023 block of the month. And I did all of the 12-inch blocks and all of the 6-inch blocks in one quilt. And it's with our favorite things collection. I always change out the quilt here. It's really hard to photograph because the lighting's kind of bad in this little hallway that leads from our front door to our kitchen and family room. But I always have a fun quilt here for people to see when they come over to our home. Okay, so this is my little area where I set up my little Christmas village. And I love setting this up every year. I think there are probably more pieces in this set, but after I got these 9, I thought I was good. This tree I actually just picked up the other day at the little shop in our little hometown. But these 3 trees my mother-in-law gifted me. They were hers for many years, and she used them to decorate. Probably my favorite Christmas carol, O Holy Night. I like to have that displayed. And then I love Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol is one of my favorite books. And so put that quote from him on the letterboard. And then the last thing right here is just my hometown quilt in Christmas fabrics. And the quilt rack is actually, I got it from Primitive Gatherings. So they also have ones that have more arms that stick out. You can have a 3-arm, I think, or a 2-arm or a 1-arm. Okay, this is a pretty early quilt that I made. I get asked about this all the time when it shows up in pictures. And This was a fat quarter shop block of the month with Kate Spain fabric, so I don't know if they still have it available or not, but it was fun. We did find out when we were hanging it that my quilt was not very straight, so yeah, it was something that I did when I was a very new quilter, but I love it. I have always loved Kate's Christmas collections. Okay, so this is kind of a fun mix. I used to do toll painting, so you'll see some little toll painted figures that I used to do back in the 90s, snowman. These are plates that my aunt gifted me. I used to be a Mary Engelbreit fanatic and loved her magazine back in the day. This is a fun snow globe that Moda gifted us a few years back, which I love, love, love. But then up here, this is little Santas. These two are music boxes, and this is a Santa. They were gifts from my husband's grandmother, as were these little snow baby figurines. But every year she owned a gift store, and she would gift us with holiday decor. So we've kept these for all these years. She would always give us a Santa and maybe a music box. For a while, one year we got some snow babies. And at the very top is another little wood toll painted decoration I made. Okay, and then here's some more, kind of like on the other side, some little toll painted things I did with snowmen, and then more of our Santa collection from my husband's grandmother. Some of the music boxes still work, some of them don't, but a lot of these are getting a little bit older now. And then some Santas, firefighter Santa, and a nod to my husband's profession, and then a golfing Santa at the top. And these are actually more recent additions. These were from Pottery Barn. They might still be available. Okay, just a couple things to talk about here. This was a previous block of the month, and I took all of the 6-inch blocks and put them together. I think this might be 2021. I'm not exactly sure. Get a lot of questions about this pillow. I can't help you on that one. It was a little kit that I got in Utah probably 15 years ago, and I don't know who designed it or anything. It was just a printed little paper. Anyway, that's this. Right down here, I'll just pick it up actually. This is my scrappy trip around the world quilt that I did in Christmas fabrics, and love this one. You can tell it's well used. I did the houndstooth flannel that was from a Camille Ross Kelly collection a few years back, and this one always gets picked up first because it has the flannel on the back. Okay, this is our primary nativity set, and there is a really fun story about this. My husband's grandmother used to give us a couple pieces every year. We might get a donkey and a little girl one year, and maybe a shepherd boy another year, or the drummer boy another year. But she gave us, one or two pieces every year for several years, but she passed away before we got Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, and the 3 wise men. But I was able to find those on eBay and was super excited to be able to finish the set. The quilt underneath here is actually a Fig Tree and Company pattern, and those are all fig tree fabrics. And I believe this pattern has this little table topper and a table runner in it. Okay, on the back of the couch here is my potluck quilt in Swell Christmas. This is another one that gets used. It's such a nice size quilt. So we like to keep it out here in the family room. This is my Home for Christmas wall hanging in Favorite Things, and just a fun little mini. And it might end up going on the wall, but for now it's on the couch. And then I try to put Christmas table toppers everywhere I can. My grandmother used to make Christmas table toppers. This one was actually a quilt block from one of Chelsea's patterns that came with this collection, and I said, it's a big block, so I'll make one and use it for a table topper. So did that. I've got a little table runner here, also with our Favorite Things fabric. This is a really fun little advent calendar. I got it from Anthropology last year, and it actually lights up, and it's set on a timer, so it comes, the lights turn on and go off by themselves. But you can, if you want to, you can put little treats in every little drawer. And I'm not sure if that's still available, but I got it and have really loved it for a couple years. A few more quilts that are on the banisters are the Merry Little Christmas. I've got Chelsea's Little Town quilt. I've got my Swell Christmas version of Foursquare. And then actually back over here, I've also got another Vanessa Gertzen panel, 'Tis the Season to be Jolly. And the little sampler to the left of it is actually, that was the Fat Quarter Shop Socialites quilt. And I did the little 3-inch blocks and did all Christmas fabrics. So just a few more ways that I have quilts displayed in the house. Okay, one more tree to show you. And this is just a conglomeration of ornaments from my childhood and ornaments that were made. There's some that were from that angel, actually. I remember buying that my very first Christmas that I was married. And that one went on, somebody was selling them at where I worked at City Hall. And I ordered that, and that was the very first ornament I ever got. This one I made about 8 or 9 of these one year from an online tutorial and gave them as gifts. You might recognize this one. We actually did a tutorial on the YouTube channel last year for this. All of these crocheted, tatted, my grandmother made these. And some of these I've probably had since the 80s. So there's some of these sprinkled through here. Another Favorite Things Christmas ornament. And another one that my grandmother made. She also made this crochet ornament, and she gifted us this nutcracker ornament. She used to love to take my kids to go see the nutcracker, and so she gifted us with that. We've got lots of little firefighter ornaments, and this sled. My grandmother grew up in Iowa, and she loved to go to the Amana colonies, and some of these are handmade from there. This sled came from the Amana colonies, and this wagon came from there. And then there are also wooden ornaments that came from there. And of course, my grandmother made the angel up here. So I've tried to always keep my trees really very handmade. One last ornament I want to share. Well, I guess a couple. Chelsea gave me this World's Best Boss, tribute to The Office ornament. But this one is probably my most treasured ornament. My mom and I painted ornaments one year when I was a very little girl with a paint by number set. And my mom painted this one, and I've had it, I think I was only 4 or 5. So I've had this a very long time, and she shellacked it really well because it has stayed very, very nice. And then I think this one, I don't know if we can get that on the camera, but that wooden nativity, that's one of the wooden ornaments that my grandma got from the Amana colonies. So yeah, and I find more, a stocking, a wreath. She made quite a few of these. So that's the main tree. Before we leave the tree, I do want to point out the tree skirt. If it looks familiar to you, it's because it is in our Home for the Holidays quilt book, and the fabrics are all Sweetwater. And I love a good tree skirt. In fact, one of the first quilted projects I ever made is a tree skirt that I think Chelsea has now, but this was kind of a tribute to that one. I keep the table pretty simple at Christmas. We always have some Christmas placemats and some Christmas coasters, and of course a Christmas table runner. This is also our Favorite Things fabric, but yeah, it's not a table unless I've got a placemat and a coaster and a table runner. Okay, and almost to the end here. This is one of my favorite quilts. It is mostly Kate Spade fabrics. This was a quilt along on Instagram from Lori Holt, and it was so much fun back in the day. It's been quite a while ago. I think the pattern might actually be available in one of her books now, but she would share a different block every couple of days. And it was so much fun because she put all the directions on Instagram, and I could go through my stash and choose the fabrics, and just love the trees and the lights and the gingerbread and the just everything. Love the little bows on the wreaths, the mittens, the ornament, the spools, and of course the stocking with the stocking hanger. I even used Kate Spade fabric on the back, and love, love, love displaying this every year. Okay, we're gonna finish up just about where we start. There's probably a few things here and there that you didn't get to see, but pretty much you did get to see most of my Christmas decor, and I do change it up every year. I put things in different places, and it's just really fun. I just get everything out of the closet, put it on the table, and then I just start having fun putting it out. I hope you all enjoyed this tour, that you have a Merry Christmas, and if you enjoyed our video, please share it with a friend, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit the like button. Thanks so much for stopping by.